Don't get addicted to your struggle. Don't let yourself become addicted to struggling in life, because this is something that is very, very easy to do the older you get and the more failures, okay, the more failures that you experience. It's very, very easy to get addicted to struggle. It happened to a lot of people, whether it's with chasing money and getting rich or losing weight, right? They kind of go on these yo-yo diets. They get more and more addicted to not succeeding or not being able to maintain success. Next thing you know, they're just going round and round in circles, and now they're just addicted to failing, right? They're addicted to not succeeding. They're addicted to the process and not achieving the results. They just become addicted to their struggle. Okay, I've seen this in dating. I mean, guys will, for years, right, try to figure out women. They'll try to figure out how to pull hotter women and whatnot, and they continue to fail and fail. And then it gets to the point where they're like, screw these bitches, I'm just so used to struggling. This is just the way it is. And nobody out there is getting laid, right? Nobody's out there getting laid. Doesn't work unless you're a Chad, and all this other stuff. And this is why I don't bag on these guys in my comments who are like, oh, it's looks, money, status. You know it, you PUA scammer. It's looks, money, status. Because I understand where they're coming from, right? These guys have not been on boot camps with me since 1995. They have not seen what other guys who are short, fat, balding, ugly have been able to pull off. So it's like, okay, I can understand your point of view, but you have not seen, what other men have done. And this is why I always advocate to be careful who you surround yourself with. The 5 people you surround yourself with are going to have the most influence on who you become, the values that you download into your brain, the beliefs that you download into your brain and you start adopting into your life. Those 5 people are going to have a serious effect on you, whether they be negative or positive, okay? And for me, I've never been much of a pessimist. I don't like that little bitch behavior. I don't like that victimhood mentality. I don't like that, oh, poor me, I'm never gonna make it. Yeah, I don't like that shit, right? Life is too short for that. You're either gonna follow, lead, or get the F out of my way. That is how I look at life. That is how I look at people in my life. I'm like, hey, you're either with me, follow behind me, take the lead, or get out of the way. Don't sit there and bitch. Don't sit there and complain. Don't sit there and backwards rationalize to yourself why you're not getting laid and I guess nobody else is getting laid either. Don't do that shit around me. Just get out of my way. This is why I don't do response videos to anybody who has disagreements about what I say or anything, because I don't want to download that toxic energy into my life, into my spirit. I don't want it a part of my world. I'm like, hey, I'm crushing in life, I'm kicking ass, I'm thriving, you're not, so get out of the way. If you don't want to learn from me, if you don't want to take the lead, if you don't want to, be side to side, get out of the way. Just get out of my way, okay? Because I'm moving too fast. I'm just going to run over you. It's like standing on train tracks. I'm just going to run right over you, okay? But for most people, they get addicted to their struggle. Okay, and a lot of that goes back to who they're surrounding themselves with. Because if you look at those people who are addicted to their struggle, who just can't succeed, who just can't get the results that they want out of life, no matter what it is, whether it's dating, business, money, losing weight, getting into better shape, getting jacked, they can't get those results. You look at the people in their lives that they're surrounding themselves with the most. They could be family, they could be friends, they could be coworkers. It's that energy that they've chosen to surround themselves with. I mean, it could be YouTube videos, right? Say they don't have any friends, or say they do, but they're following these 5 YouTube channels that are telling them no, it's bullshit. No, it's looks, money, status, or no, anyone selling a get rich quick program scam or whatever. It's those people are having a serious effect on you. And this is why you become addicted to struggle, and then you end up being stuck in coping phase, right? Because there are 3 phases that you will experience, you will encounter on your way to achieving success. That's the failing stage, the coping stage, and finally the thriving stage, okay? So at the very bottom, we've got the failing stage. In the middle, which is the stage that everybody gets stuck at, is the coping stage, right? The struggling stage, the coping stage. And then finally the thriving stage. And the thriving stage, unfortunately, is where it's a phase that very few people make it to, okay? And from what I've seen, what I've experienced out there, I've got a lot of high value friends, especially in Hollywood. The guys who are crushing it the most in their lives have gotten to the thriving stage because they surround themselves with other people who share their friggin' take over the world larger than life beliefs of themselves. And sometimes it's a bit delusional, right? Sometimes these guys are a bit too delusionally optimistic, right? But I rather be delusionally optimistic than delusionally pessimistic. You feel me? I'd rather be delusionally optimistic than delusionally pessimistic. If I'm gonna go anywhere in life, I'd rather go towards a stage that's going to put me on the path towards thriving rather than being stuck in the stage where it's coping, just looking for more confirmation that, you know, your bullshit ideas are like, this is why I'm sucking. You know, it's because only chats can get hot women. And in order to get rich, you have to already know rich people, and they're all cheating the system and all this stuff, and everything's a scam. Once you get into that, I mean, it's very hard to get out. Okay, it's very hard to get out. If you want to stop getting addicted to your struggle, the first thing that you need to do is you have to look at what beliefs you're surrounding yourself with, whether they be actual people in your life, vlogs you're reading, YouTube channels you're following, right? You have to be very careful of this. I mean, it's funny because if you look at like the people who follow my channels, right, whether it be my dating channel or my Alpha Male Secrets channel, if you look in the comments at these guys, overwhelmingly, I'm gonna say like 99% of these guys are just guys who are wanting to crush it in life. These guys are very optimistic, just focused on becoming the best versions of themselves, and they don't have time for this petty victimhood bullshit. Whereas you look at other people's channels, especially like people who've like done, say like response videos about my videos, or, you know, have those type of like, just kind of like toxic channels. You look at their commenters, right? You look at the people who follow their channels and you look at the comments. These guys, they share that same toxic mentality that they do, right? Because like attracts like, right? Birds of a feather flock together. Like attracts like. This is why you look at the guys who follow me, these guys are all high value. These are all guys that I would want to hang out with. I wouldn't want to hang out with any of their subscribers, right? This is why I don't bother responding or anything. It's like, these are people that I would never have in my life to begin with, even if I wasn't on YouTube. I would never even interact with these people. Why would I interact with them online, much less in real life? You know, they're not a part of my world. They're not a part of my energy. They're not a part of where I'm headed in life, you know, where I'm continuing to head in life. This is why I don't get addicted to struggle. You know, it's because, again, it's part of that, you know, the people I surround myself with. We're like delusionally optimistic. We have delusional self-confidence. And because of that, we tend to win, right? We tend to win at life. We tend to achieve the lifestyle that others can't, that I want my subscribers to achieve, right? That others can't. Okay, and I'm trying to say that without sounding like arrogant or egotistical, because it's all about lifestyle. You're either failing at life, you're coping with life, which is basically most people, or you're one of the few that is thriving at life, okay? Where really, once you're thriving at life, the more you go up in scale, in lifestyle, the less people are going to be able to relate to you. The less people you're gonna have things in common with, just because most people are part of that herd mentality where they are coping with life. Whether or not they're aware of it, they're coping with life, right? They are coping with life. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to be thriving at life, okay? And this doesn't mean you're never gonna fail, because you are. You're gonna fail. It's just about how you deal with that failure, okay? Are you gonna use that failure to push you down more in life, to give you reasons for why you're not succeeding and everyone else is? Are you gonna use those failures to really just confirm your, you know, BS beliefs that you have, that, oh, these other people are making it are totally full of shit, you know, and this is the way, you know, even though I'm sucking at life? Are you going to do that, or are you going to use these failures to lift you up and to energize you and to put fire in you? Right? Because it's very easy, man. Getting addicted to your struggle. Like I said, the older you get, the easier it is, because you're just going to encounter more and more failure as you get older. It's different from when you were as a kid, right? Because when you're a kid, you kind of have this invincible feeling that you can never fail. You just feel like you can take over the world and nobody can stop you. Okay? Feel like you could take over the world. Everything is yours. You're larger than life. You have no filters as a child. And it's not until you start getting older that you start experiencing, failure. You start experiencing more people giving you reasons why you can't do it. Why the people who are doing it they're bad people. They're bad people. They're cheating the system, and all this other stuff. Oh, it's all a lie. You have a lot of people telling you that. Why? Because they're coping. So guess what? They want you to cope too. They don't want to see you thrive, right? They don't want to see you thrive. A lot of people I went to school with, unfortunately, don't want to be friends with me anymore. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. They just don't want to associate with me anymore. It's because we've become unrelatable. I haven't changed. The funny thing is, I'm still the same guy. It's like I haven't changed one bit. The only thing that's different about me or different about my lifestyle is I've just kind of gone to a new level. It's funny because you always think it's like the person who achieves success is going to change, and it's really not. It's the people around him who change, because I really haven't changed. I mean, I haven't stopped eating in the same places. I still eat the same places I always did. I'm not going to 5-star restaurants and, booking the Four Seasons every time I travel. I don't do stuff like that. It's just not part of who I am. I'm enjoying a better lifestyle though. Yes, I am doing that. I'm buying the dream cars I've always wanted, but I mean, I'm not, I haven't changed. I'm not buying Rolex watches and, doing stuff like that. But I'm essentially still the same guy, but it's just the people around me have not been able to really just, accept that. So you'll experience that too. This is why I tell people, a lot of my students, I'm the higher you go up in life, the more results that you're able to achieve for yourself, right? The better lifestyle you achieve for yourself, the more your social circle is going to change. My social circle has changed dramatically from where it was 10 years ago even. 5 years ago. It's I've got guys in my life that I would never have thought I'd be friends with. I'm whoa, friends with this New York Times best-selling author. Oh wow, I'm friends with this guy who's doing $1 million a month in sales, and he's got this crazy lifestyle, or it's just insane. It just goes back to, I look at my social circle that I have now versus the one that I grew up with, and it's I could easily identify the social circle that I grew up with. Sadly, still today, it's they're still struggling. They're just very, very addicted to that struggle. And it's to the point where now it's they will go so far as to shame anybody who is not addicted to struggle and is actually thriving in life. It's kind of sad. Again, it's crabs in the bucket theory. You put one crab in the bucket, he's not going to try to escape, but if you put two crabs in the bucket, they're going to both try to pull each other down. I want to say a lot of this too will just come down to you taking yourself to a higher vibrational frequency, because you'll notice the people who are kind of operating on this low vibrational frequency in life, these are the people who tend to get very petty about things. These are people who tend to be oh, look at him. And these are the type of people that for the most part are either failing or coping in life, right? Whereas when you start to thrive at life, you will notice it's because you've taken yourself to a higher vibrational frequency. Okay, I knew more than a few guys, including myself, who struggled growing up with food addictions, different type of food. I used to eat really bad food growing up, right? Really bad food. You see chips, lots of carbs, lots of sugar, a lot of candy, a lot of cake. I used to eat like that. There were points in my life when I was younger where I was actually fat. There were times where I was skinny too, because I was able to kind of fight back and just work out like crazy. And I would just run on the treadmill like crazy. I just work out like crazy for 3 months straight and just really not eat that much food. Then I would lose weight. And then I'd be in really kick-ass shape for 6 months, and then I would start to put it back on. Much like anybody else, right? A lot of people go through the same thing. You might see these type of guys at your gym where hey, there's this guy And I've seen this too, where guys are like super jacked. They get in this like completely like insanely like ripped jack type of shape for a little while, and then like fast forward a year, maybe 2 years later, you see this guy and it's like, whoa, what happened? He's got a pot belly, his muscles are starting to get flabby. It's like, what happened to this guy? He was just in such phenomenal shape just a couple years ago. It's because that guy has now become addicted to a struggle. And you might see that guy still going to the gym every single day, pounding away. It looks like he's even working out even harder now, and he can't get back to that same shape that he was in previously, right? And a lot of that goes back to diet, by the way. But he can't get back to that, and he's just struggling so hard to just get back to where he was previously. And he's probably telling himself, if I could just get back to that same weight I was 2 years ago, and looking how I was 2 years ago, I'll be happy with that. I won't try any harder. I'll be happy. But he can't, right? He can't, because he's stuck in that same vibrational state that is no longer going to work for him. In order for him to get back in that kick-ass shape he was in 2 years ago, he would need to take himself to a higher vibrational state. It's kind of like how I kicked my food addictions and I stopped eating like bad food 24/7. I had to take my mind to a higher vibrational state. I had to start surrounding myself with people who knew better than me. I had to push my ego aside, even though I've been in sports pretty much my entire life. I've kind of been in fitness my entire life. I had to push my own ego aside and listen to other people. It doesn't mean they had more knowledge than me. Some of them did. They just had a different perspective that took my thinking, at least when it comes to, since we're on the topic of food and diet and fitness, when it comes to that, it took my thinking to a new level. To the point where, before, back in the day, just to stay in shape, I would have to go to the gym 5-6 times. I kid you not. I was going to the gym 5-6 times per week, staying in there for like 2 to 3 hours. It was kind of like wrecking my social life, because I was like, man, I'm always in the gym. Why am I here? I enjoyed it, but I'm like, I'm always here. This sucks. To the point where now I work out. Guys are always shocked. I work out 2 times per week. Right? That's it. I work out twice per week, couple hours. So like 4 hours total probably. But I go hard those 2 days. I work out 2 days a week, very hard, and then I don't work out the rest of the week. I usually do it back to back, like Monday and Tuesday. And I'm happy. If you go to my Instagram, I have a lot of photos with my shirt off, right? I'm no male model, but you know what? I'm happy with my body. I'm happy, right? I just posted one recently where I was walking around with my shirt off, and I got a lot of comments. Guys like, hey, you look jacked. Hey, how many days a week you must be working out all the time? I'm like, no, I work out twice a week. The thing is, it just comes back to your diet, your sleeping patterns, and really that's most of it. The lifting weights part and the exercise routine that I have is very basic. It's nothing spectacular. I'm not doing deadlifts and shit like that. Stuff like that's not good for your back at my age, especially because I played sports all my life and I would take a lot of hits. I don't want to do deadlifts and do all sorts of crazy exercises. I do very basic free weights. That's all I do. I use dumbbells. I use free weights. I work out like 2 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Tuesday, and then I'm done for the rest of the week. Those 2 days, that's all I work out. And, I've got some guys on my Instagram are like, hey, man, you got to do some neck pulls. You got to do this. And you could really strengthen the neck, and then legs. You got to do legs and the thighs and all. I'm like, dude, I just don't care. I'm like, hey, I'm happy with my body. I'm pretty muscular and I'm in great shape. I'm not fat. I'm physically fit. Could I compete with a male model and be like, 6% body fat? No. But you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy, and that's all that matters. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not a weightlifter. Probably not going to be, throwing a football anymore. So, I'm a dating coach. I'm happy with my body. I'm not a fat fuck, right? I'm happy. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters. But I was able to get to that result. I'm actually in way better shape than I've ever been before. This is the best shape I've been in my entire life. And this is the least amount that I've ever worked out in my entire life. The trick is I'm just eating better. I'm sleeping better, right? And that came from listening to dietitians. That came from listening to people who knew better than me. It came from me pushing my ego aside. It came from me taking my thinking to a higher vibration. The time when I was working out 5-6 days per week and I couldn't stop pounding the carbs and the sugar, I was like, I thought I knew it all. I'm like, dude, I've been a fitness trainer before. I've been an athlete. I know what I'm doing. No, sometimes you got to get a different perspective, and that takes mental maturity. It's just like the guys who want to bag on things that I have to say, certain topics that I've done, and they want to be paint the picture no, my way is the right way, my way only. Whatever white pill or whatever it is, orange pill. This is the way. And it's like, no, dude, you just don't have enough mental maturity to see that, hey, maybe your way works for you, but it doesn't work for everybody. Maybe there's also a different way that you're just like, your ego is cutting you off from because you're in ego protection mode, and you won't allow yourself to grow as a man. You won't allow yourself to become mentally mature enough to see that there are people who have other perspectives that are successful as well. This all comes back to being addicted to your struggle. In order to get beyond that, you have to go to a higher vibration. Financially with me, I grew up poor. We didn't really have that much money, my parents both worked like 2 jobs, and we had a station wagon. We'd take trips to Disneyland, which was like a big deal for us. And there were times we couldn't even afford a room to sleep in. It was like me, my brothers, my sisters, my 2 grandmothers, like sleeping in the station wagon because we couldn't afford the hotel room. I grew up with that in my head. So growing up, I was thinking like, okay, this is the best life's gonna get. If I could just achieve this, I'm good, right? And it took like meeting other people who took me to another higher vibration. Like the first person I met was an entrepreneur. I mentioned this, he was my Uncle Chris. He was married to my sister at the time, and he was an entrepreneur. Showed up at my parents' house in a brand new Mercedes. I had never seen that before, never saw a Mercedes on my block, and he was the first person who brought my thinking into a different dimension to where like he dropped out of school. He was like successful financially, but yet here I was being pummeled with parents, teachers, and society telling me that no, if you don't go to school and get your degree, you're going to be poor, you're going to be homeless, you're going to be a failure, people are going to be calling you a loser. And I'm like, wait, Chris didn't do any of those things, and he's rich, he's successful, and he's happy. I'm like, how do I get that? He took my thinking into a different dimension. And after him, I met more entrepreneurs and other business owners. Now I run a 1,500 member entrepreneurs group in Los Angeles, and it's just not shocking to me when we have a business owner in there who's doing 10 million a month. It's like nothing. Like, oh, 10 million, cool, man. I'm not doing 10 million a month, but it's just not surprising to me anymore. Whereas when we get somebody new into our group who's like just starting out, they're always like, whoa, 10 million a month, are you kidding me? How are you making 10 million? It's like shocking to them because for them, it's outside of their reality. It's outside of their bubble. They've never experienced that dimension, where for us, it's kind of like par for the course. Like, oh, this guy's doing 10 million. And because I've met more and more people like that, or who are in a higher vibration than I am, I've been able to take my own business from, say, 10K a month to 20K a month, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100K a month, like it's nothing. Because I'm surrounded by these other guys who are doing 100 times that amount, to the point where it's kind of making me feel like, wow, I'm like really sucking, even if we're doing just 100K a month, like, man, we're sucking. This guy's doing 10 million, so it's just because of those influences that you're surrounded by. Okay, that is going to have the most effect on what stage you stay at in life, whether you stay in the failing stage, the coping stage, or the thriving stage. And let me tell you, people who are in the thriving stage, they don't have time for all that petty victimhood, poor me bullshit, right? They're not gonna like tell you to your face, like, hey, get out of my face. They're just gonna ignore you, right? And I've learned from them, same thing. This is why I ignore the haters. I ignore the response videos. I ignore it because it's petty victimhood bullshit. It's like there's always a choice you can make. Okay, there's always a choice you can make. For mine, it's like the dating advice stuff. Like, you can't get 9s and 10s unless you're a Chad. Okay, you saying you can't get a 7? You can't get yourself an 8? Are you that much of a little bitch? Like, you're younger than me, you're better looking than me, you can't get yourself a 7 or 8? Are you sucking that bad? Really? So, yeah, for guys who are like thriving, they're not going to want to surround themselves, okay, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, around people who are sucking, but not just sucking, but like playing the victim and looking for more reasons for why they're sucking to confirm it, because they're too scared to get outside their comfort zone. They're too scared to place bets on themselves. They're too scared to believe in themselves and have faith in themselves to get out there and try. If you can't even get out there in the real world and try and give it a shot, just because you failed in the past, if you can't just keep trying to get a little bit better, doesn't mean you have to become a master or an expert, but just get a little bit better each day. If you can't even do that, throw in the towel. Throw in the towel. Give up, right? Like I said earlier, either lead, follow, or get the F out of my way. And that's how most guys who are thriving are gonna treat you. Lead, follow, or get the F out of my way, because I don't have time for this little girl shit. Don't have time for it, okay? But if you're on the same path and you wanna win too, jump on board my train. I don't care if you're failing, you're coping, what. If you wanna learn and you believe in yourself, you wanna see how far you could take your life, you want to get a little bit better each day, you're okay with taking your failures and learning from them, you're okay with pushing your ego aside and going to a higher vibration so you can see a different dimension to life, not the one that you're trying to imprison yourself in. If you're willing to do that, whether you're failing or coping, I don't care. Get on board my train. Let's go together. And with that said, this is M, also known as Matt Cross from Alpha Male Secrets. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Also hit that notification bell right next to it so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on YouTube. And more importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a ton when you guys subscribe, and also when you share my coaching videos with other like-minded red pill friends of yours, okay? It helps out our community, it helps grow the channel, obviously, and it helps grow our movement as men. If you have other like-minded friends who think like you, who share the same ideas and values as you, bring them onto my channel, have them subscribe, and send them some of my coaching videos, and just bring them over, okay? Just bring them over. For you guys who want to support my work and all of this red pill, gold pill, platinum pill content that I am creating for you even further, the best way to do that is by becoming a premium subscriber of my premium Alpha Male Secrets channel, which I am hosting on a private platform away from YouTube. And the reason why I'm doing that is to protect my content in the event that YouTube just all of a sudden like shuts us down because they don't like you guys becoming empowered. They don't like you guys becoming woke to the truth, right? No matter what happens, I will still have my premium alpha channel being hosted on this other private platform that I'm paying for, okay? I'm paying for this platform where I'm putting my premium content on it, so it will never be lost and nobody can ever take it down. Even if YouTube ever does take us down, you will be a member of my premium alpha channel and you will be safe, okay? Also, it's way more private than YouTube. With YouTube, I mean, there's just a lot of privacy issues, not that much different from Facebook. But on my private platform, everything is encrypted, everything is secure, so you can guarantee that you're safe on my private platform. Again, because I'm paying for this platform. It's only $1 for the entire first month of premium alpha male coaching lessons from me. And all you need to do to get signed up is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. So do that now and I will see you in my next coaching video.